On today's episode of Purple Pride, we're taking a look at the SFA men's rugby team.
Welcome to this episode of Purple Pride. I'm Bradley Wilderness. Today we'll be talking about the SFA Men's Rugby Club. Rugby is an exciting sport that not many people in the U.S. know about. Here to shed some light on rugby, we'll be talking with Rugby President Andrew Middleton. But first, we went out to speak with some members of the SFA Rugby Club to see what it is they love about the sport.
I started playing rugby because when I came to SFA, I tried to fill out for the football team and never really got a chance to play what I wanted to because I didn't really like the way they played football. And so I came out to the rugby team, and for the past five or so years now, I've been doing pretty much everything and anything that I could ask for as a lifestyle choice. I get to play out here on this beautiful field every Saturday. I get to hang out with some of the best guys in the world. I get to truck stick whoever I want, and that's a blast. And would I change anything to play football again? No. I believe rugby is what I was made to do, and I believe that I was put here to play it. It's not in some ways it can be a life choice, but I would say that it's a lifestyle now. And without it, I still wouldn't be going to school here.
I decided I wanted to play rugby because I wanted to be a part of something that involved competing, and rugby seemed like a fun thing to do. So I met one of the guys from the team, and I decided to come out and try it. And I've been playing for about 4.5 years now, and it's one of the things that I really enjoy about going to school here. It's kind of a lifestyle now. Not only do we play, but we kind of just have our own way of doing things. And I continue to play rugby because I honestly don't know, I just don't know what to do without it. So that's the reason why I started playing rugby and why I like playing rugby.
I moved to SFA about 2 years ago. I had a couple of buddies on the rugby team. They asked me if I wanted to hit some people, no pads. I was like, all right, man, this sounds like fun. Came out to practice. Loved every minute of it, never went back.
So there are a ton of reasons for anyone to get started with a rugby program. So Andrew, what is your reason?
Well, the reason why I play rugby is because it's a sport that embodies so many aspects. It embodies a lot of running, a lot of technique, a lot of thinking. It's a very multifaceted sport. That's one of the big things that draws me to it. Also, you get to hit people.
Okay. And I know that you're the president. What is your responsibilities of being the president?
As a president, you have to make sure that everybody does their jobs. Like, since we're a sport club, so we have to abide by certain things that the sports club makes us do as far as paperwork. And we have 4 officers: as the president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. So as president, you have to make sure the vice president is doing his job, the secretary is taking care of all the paperwork, and the treasurer is making sure the finances are in order.
Okay. And can you describe to me on how the game is played?
Yes. The game is, you have 2 40-minute halves and a 10-minute halftime, and the way the clock runs, it's a lot more oriented towards soccer than it is towards football.
So it's continuous.
Exactly. It's much more continuous.
Okay.
Exactly. And so, like with football, you go and you get tackled, and then you have a 25-second play clock to choose your new play. Then you start the play over again, and the clock stops, generally most of the time between plays. With rugby, you get tackled, you keep going. So it's a much more fast-paced game, and And one of the things that happens is when you get tackled, you go into what's called a ruck. And what happens is you're running towards your goal line, and when you get tackled, you want to place the ball towards your teammate. So what happens is then one of your teammates steps over you and binds onto generally your shoulders and your hips, because you make an L formation, and you place the ball at your feet. So when you do that, they kind of secure the ball, because the ball is always open. It's always anybody's ball. So that's one of the things that makes it more continuous, and the reason why the reason why it's continuous.
Okay, you said an L formation. Can you describe it more?
Okay. If we're going this way, I'm going to place my back toward this way, and my feet are going to be pointing that way. So like my head is going to be here, my hips are going to be here, and I'm like this, facing that way, and the ball is going to be at my feet.
Okay. All right. And what positions are there?
Positions, there are the two main groups. You have forwards and you have backs. And forwards, they're the bigger guys. They are involved in what's called a scrum. And the forwards are, you have two props. You have a loose head prop and a tight head prop. You have a hooker. And those three people are in what's called the front row of the scrum. They're like your offensive and defensive line type. Then you have your two locks who are in the middle. They're the powerhouse of the scrum. They're where the drive comes from. You have two flankers, because they're on the outside of the scrum. They're on the flank. Then you have what's called an 8-man, who's a number 8. And then you also have a scrum half, who's number 9, who he's kind of like the quarterback, so to speak, because what he does is he calls plays. He basically looks at the field and makes decisions on what the team's going to do. He calls different calls for obviously different scenarios. And then you have, and those are your forwards, essentially. The scrum half's kind of both. Okay. And so then you have your backs. You have a fly half, which is your number 10, which he calls the plays for the backs. There you have your fly half. Then you have your inside center, who's number 11, your outside center, who's 12. Then you have two wings at 13 and 14. And then you have your fullback, which is number 15. And the fullback is like the safety, because if you're on defense, the offense breaks the line, he's your last line of defense.
Right. Yeah, I see that it has a lot of similarities to football. What position do you play?
I'm a loose head prop.
Explain that.
I'm in the front row in the scrum. So I basically all props do is they're in the scrum. They do bangers, which are that's a call where it's off of a ruck, where you pass the ball out, and it's just working on getting the ball up the field and banging through the defense. That's all that is.
So yeah, just pretty much offensive line.
Exactly,
Okay.
Just offensive line, so to speak, or defensive line, yes.
Okay. So who can actually play rugby? Like, do you need to be somebody like super big, super
No.
tough,
See, that's one of the things that a lot of people say. It's one of the misconceptions, I think, because people assume, oh, you're going out there and you're going to hit people, so you want to be as big as possible. Well, you do want to be as big as possible, but the thing is, you have your big guys, but you also have your small, fast guys. So rugby appeals to every athletic body shape, everybody that wants to play can go play rugby.
So I can actually get out there and not
Yeah,
get killed.
if you want to come, no, you wouldn't get killed. You wouldn't get killed. Actually, we had one guy out there. He was about 5'4", 120 pounds. He was quick. He was good. Slippery.
All right. So what was SFA's record this season?
SFA's record this season was 9-2.
9-2.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive.
We have playoffs, and we're the number 1 seed for the state playoffs.
You think y'all can win that?
Oh, I know we can.
Hey,
I know we can.
I like that confidence.
Mm-hmm.
What rivalry does this school have?
We haven't done it in a while because we've been in different conferences. We try to play SAM as much as we can, because this year we moved up to men's instead of playing collegiate. So this year we haven't really played a lot of colleges. But our biggest rival, I think, would be Baylor.
Baylor?
Yeah, we play Baylor a lot, and it's always good. And also we've beaten the past 3 years, so I like it.
All right. And what would you say was your most exciting game this year?
Our most exciting game, I would have to say, I think our most exciting game was when we played Grand Prairie this semester. It was February 16th because it was a very close match, and we were number 1, they were number 2. So there was a lot of playoff implications, and it was a very close game, and we played outstanding.
That's good. How can someone sign up to be on the rugby team?
Okay, to sign up for the rugby team, all you have to do is just show up to practice. We practice at the intramural fields right across from the rec center. Basically, our pitch is the only field with goalposts. And all you do is you show up Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday between 4 and 6. Just come out and say you want to play rugby, and we'll give you the forms. You sign up, and you can play that day.
All right, I just might do that actually.
Right, you
'Cause
should.
I'm just looking to play different kind of sports.
Yeah.
I just like doing them all.
Yeah.
Tell us a little more about the rugby team,
Okay.
or what it's like to be on the rugby team. I'm
Well,
sorry.
one of the things that I love about it is rugby. It's a very close-knit community. Like they honestly become your family because you practice with them, you play with them, you spend so much time out of school with them. They really become your family. That's one of that's one of the things that I love about it is honestly, if it wasn't for the rugby team, I wouldn't I'd kind of be lost because once you start rugby, it becomes the biggest part of your life, or at least for me it has. Because once you buy into the rugby system, you play, you work out, you do everything for it, it takes up a lot of your time, but at the same time, it's something you want to do, you want to come back to it, so that's one of the things I love about it is the close-knit family aspect of it. Also, you build lifelong friends. You can associate with joining a fraternity,
Right.
except it's less expensive. But I'm not talking about fraternities, not at all.
Right.
But one of the it's such a close-knit family.
Can you tell us about the Rugby Fest?
Yes, Rugby Fest. Yes, Rugby Fest is it's an all-day-long tournament. The past couple years, it's been the biggest collegiate rugby tournament in the state of Texas, where we generally have anywhere from 6 to 10 teams all come out, and it's just a big rugby tournament. Lasts all day, and we always have a lot of people out there. It's always a good time, and we're actually we haven't set a date for it next year, but we're going to be having it next year, probably around November. So anybody that's in Nacogdoches should come on out, and they can watch some quality rugby.
All right. And what are the risks of being on the rugby team?
Risks as far as like health risks?
Yes.
Or okay, well, obviously with any sport, you have the risk of injury.
Right.
But one of the things that I like about rugby is since we don't have pads, we don't play with pads at all. So since you don't play with pads, you're a little bit more conserved when you play. Because like if you play football, you're surrounded by pads, so you're going to go try to knock someone out as much as you can. But without the pads, you're going to be more worried about the technique and doing things right. And so it's a little more it's kind of a paradox in that no pads helps. But I think the reason why it does is
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut you off.
it's all good.
there.
It's all good.
That's all the time we have for today on Purple Pride. You can follow SFA's Rugby Club to learn their next game and to keep up with the scores by following them on Twitter at SFA Rugby. I'd like to thank our guest, Andrew Middleton, for coming by and speaking with us today. And thank you for watching. And be sure to tune in next time and learn more about SFA has to offer in another exciting episode of Purple Pride.